does.
First of all, thank you for staying this long. This is highly appreciated.
Yes.
Do I get a timer? Do I get a timer?
Yes, control. Give Inbar some time on the clock. It should be
Okay,
a thank you.
so when the going gets tough, the community gets going. If you know, then the theme of this year is Together We Hack, right? It's all about how the community responded to things that happened in October. So this talk is going to have 3 parts, and each part is going to have a dedicated speaker. My co-speakers are backstage. And the first one is talking about the community. Now, trigger warning, this will make references to October 7th, so be prepared. That's the only photo that we're going to have from there, at least me. But this is basically how it's all started. I mean, I remember waking up to the alarm, and then about an hour later, the WhatsApp group of the building already had this going on, and I was like, there's no way. Stop spreading stuff, wait until the evening. And what actually happened is that it was a Saturday, right? So the following day, on a Sunday, we all woke up to this. And we realized that we are at a war. Now, usually, wars are something that don't need to affect civilians. The whole concept of army, military, is that the armies fight and the civilians go on with their lives. But something didn't go as planned on that day, as you all know, and the first response was none. There wasn't any first response. And rather quickly, people started realizing that things need to be done, otherwise it's not going to get good. And then a few things that we have as Israelis started playing or taking place in the game. The first one, everybody knows the 6 degrees of separation. It all started with Kevin Bacon. It was like a research and a theory and everything, which basically says that you can get from any person in the world to Kevin Bacon, or any other person for that matter, in 6 steps. Well, in Israel, it's 2, and sometimes even less. So that's one thing we have going for us. And the second one is that every one of us in this small country has between 3 and 5 different circles, and sometimes even more. I didn't list all of them, of people that they know. Now, maybe some of the circles overlap, maybe they don't overlap, but maybe we've been in the military and we know people. Maybe we went to the academia, got our first or second or third degree, so we met a few people there. We have family and friends, people that have been going with us, like my co-speaker Idan. We know each other from 1991, which is a long time ago. Some of the people we met in our career, we worked with them, they were our colleagues, and some of them, as you will find out later, are portfolio companies of investors, and that's going to be in the second part. But we all have a bunch of circles of people we know, and these are not very small circles. This is a small country. We know a lot of people. So, if you have to sum up the benefits that we started with on that day, I sum it up in resourcefulness. And usually it means one thing, but in our case, it actually meant a few. First of all, well, yeah, resources. People put in money, people put in time, people put in the ties, those people from the circles, infrastructure, people helped with infrastructure, like you will see examples like internet, headcount, to put people that work on something. Because things, in order to get things done, you need headcount, right? And people just threw that all in without even thinking. And all of a sudden, there was this unique situation where a lot of resources were put into this one focused effort. And that has great benefits. Innovation. We are very good, because of the life here, to come up with solutions to low resource and high constraint situations. That's our life. We do that even when driving. We do it in the supermarket. We do it when we travel abroad. We do it in the military. That's just how our mind is wired, because this is life here. So that also is a very important skill. And we have chutzpah. We don't mind going to people that we don't know and say, hi, I'm doing something and I need your help. And this is very important because it enables you to go outside of those 5 circles that I've shown before. And one last thing is we have a GTD attitude, a get things done. It's like, it needs to be done, we will do it. I don't know how, I don't know what it's gonna cost, but we're gonna do it because it matters. And this is a very important factor. And of course, in this particular situation, social networks played a very big part in bringing those people together, in creating those connections, and building ad hoc networks that enabled us to do things, right? So, I'll start with the 2 largest scale events, okay? Achim Laneshek, let's put politics aside, they had a whole infrastructure for their operations before the war. And then when the war started, everything just pivoted into helping people, okay? They had this war room in Bet Kama. I spent a couple of days there. It was amazing. It was a room with people, and you could hear the explosions in Gaza, and people got people from their houses under fire. I met a guy, Ronnie, if you ever see this, he's over 60, he was in Sayeret Matkal, he goes out, he comes back with a bunch of people, and he casually tells me, yeah, we ran into some terrorists, there was some firefight, but it's nothing we've been through, right? It's nothing for us. That's what these people did. So that's a very big operations, and not only what they did in the south, they also had, not far from here, a very big operation of getting supplies to people. Now that is a movement that had the infrastructure beforehand, but Dana Gat, she's a blogger. And when the war started, she used her circles and her influence to build an operation almost overnight that took care of many, many problems of lack of supplies of all kinds, all over the country. We had real-time rescue. This is something that I will leave Idan to speak about. This was a thing that helped people in real time and rescued them from their houses. And then the flood started. After the big things came a lot of little things. I asked for my friends from my circles to give me examples, and that's what I'm sharing with you. I will let you guys read. I will say it in English for those who don't speak Hebrew. So we started with technology to the rescue. There was a group of people that helped people who lost relatives, that they were maybe killed or kidnapped or missing or whatever, and they used their technical skills to get data out of their mobile phones to try to track where the hostages were. That was one thing that happened. More technology people help other people check links. A lot of people were getting links. Sometimes they were good, sometimes they were bad. So that also helped. A lot of drones. There were many efforts involving drones. One group brought Starlink internet. Starlink isn't even officially supported in Israel. And they brought them to one of the settlements in the south to give them internet to support peripheral cameras, right? We have that. And then came the things that are for people that were already rescued, that had business problems, didn't get any money, left their houses. There was a whole array of initiatives that helped people. There's a group that has 30 volunteers and almost 60,000 subscribers that just helped people in whatever they needed. And that is a very big thing that the community did to everything. Now, even the military was using volunteers. People helped the military with drones, with data recovery, with almost anything you can think of. Skills that people had in their civilian life, they gave to the army. Again, a lot of drone stuff, overlooking and rescuing and searching for things. These all initiatives came from people. And right before I pass on the mic to my fellow speakers, I want to tell you this is one of the things that made me very proud to be an Israeli when things happen. I had the opportunity, thanks to Idan, to be a part of one of these things, and it helped get over the feeling of helplessness. When you see something like this happening and you feel like there's nothing you can do, these are the initiatives that let you do something and feel like you're making a change. Idan?
So I'll start off by embarrassing a person from the crowd. I'm really proud my son won and part of the group of second place, so kudos, like next generation. And I totally agree with Inbar, right? The feeling of helplessness post-October 7th was just immense, right? I actually slept through the morning of October 7th. I was working the night before, and I didn't even see the rockets. But something sped up, and that's the story I'm going to talk about today, which is Kvar Ba'im showed us what a group of highly dedicated people could do in less time, resources, and everything than any project they could imagine. It's a group of 30 people that build a full command and control system on a country scale, deployed at the army bases. That was just shocking. But really, to understand that, this is the one project I never wanted to be used, right? In all my life, I always built stuff, and what gave me back is people using it. But in Kvar Ba'im, I didn't realize what was going on. This is an email I got somewhere night of October 7th, night of that Saturday, from a person called Tom. Tom is New York based. He was the CEO of Thomson Reuters. And he sends me a message about Ami Daniel. Ami Daniel is the CEO of Windward, a company I sat on the board of. That CEO is a hero, supposedly. And I'm trying to understand, like, he's a Navy guy. Like, what would he be doing in Gaza? But he was more the hero than I expected. And these are actual screenshots that were going on. Ami just created a Google form, managed to send it to all the kibbutzim, and through Achim LaNeshek, actually found a connection. So he was WhatsApping with the Magadim, right? And directing them where to go, where are people stranded, and save dozens, hundreds of people. And not just this specific person, it's also a complete family.
עמי היקר, רציתי להגיד לכם המון 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 תודה שבאתם מכל מקום לנסות להציל אותנו ולעזור לנו. אני מחפשת את המילים להודות שמרגישות לי כל כך קטנות, אבל באמת תודה מכל הלב. אנחנו חיים, ייקח לנו איזשהו מסע להחלים גם, אבל גם אותו אנחנו נצלח. אנחנו העם הכי חזק בעולם, בעיקר ברוח שלנו, וזה אף פעם לא ישברו. עמי, תודה.
And not just families, whole kibbutzim. This is from Sunday, if I recall already, where there were 400 people stranded, and he was in Nir Yitzchak, and he was directing the army specifically to the places where people were being held, or people that were just there. And it's almost shocking that a person, at that point it was a group of 10 people, but that was rescuing these amount of people. But then, while the government obviously is working on whatever it is that they were working on, we got together at Hod HaSharon, Ami Daniel's house, a group of 30 people that were just running this operation. And of course, this was on the dining room table because kibbutzim have no street names. So it's like at the second cow turn left, right? That's basically, so this is aerial photos, and we were using those in order to understand where people were and to direct the army, again, over WhatsApp. And of course, I screwed up. So second day that was going on, I volunteered, was thinking through how we distribute as many Google Forms to the people, but this happened. So a group, I was told there was a fighting going on, and I had an open channel to the IDF, so I started directing the soldiers there, and we couldn't find the person that was supposedly within the fight, 90 fighters there, no fighting. So what really happened there is that Hamas actually, there was a fight there earlier. Hamas took a phone and basically misdirected us, and thankfully, that was not an ambush, right? But that could have been an ambush, and this is second day. And this taught me that we actually need a bad actors detection layer, which I'll speak about. So when we were building the app, the series of the infrastructure, bad actors actually became a really important part of what we were doing, and we integrate into social databases of sorts, so we can ask people when we know who they are in order to make sure this is not the Hamas. But I could have killed people there. So that was happening. So suddenly people hear about what was going on, and we started getting more and more requests. And it wasn't just about rescuing people from kibbutzim, it was also about Ashkelon, people that had a missile hit their home and needed, in order to be rescued or removed. We had to scale this thing. So Neil, the president of Wix, just assigned some of their best engineers, so designers, product, eng, and to this day, these are some of the best people I know. Fiverr as well, Monday as well, I'll show you some stuff. And this team initially just took vacation days until we understood this is actually a critical project that we needed to build, and it will take time, though within a week, we had this. So from a Google form, that was just totally random, and a spreadsheet of who we approached, be it the Achim LaNeshek, be it the army. So from that kind of infrastructure, this is a location-based service. It actually has session management, so we can actually even track and continue the discussion or the communications with the people that were stranded. And this was up within a week, which was pretty good. But this actually, Monday.com has been, for anyone that is involved, they have built amazing command and control. There have been, I think at the outset, there were about 100 to 150 such command and control systems. And a team there came, helped us, and we built something that could actually hold 50 people at the command and control center. And this is probably mid through week 2, that we could already handle more than 50 people at the same time, including the bad actors, so we can validate that and then become a router in order to route things to Achim LaNeshek or the army or whatever. So we started scaling that up. This is actually, you start thinking about this as a product, right? This is week 2, and we're thinking how we're scaling this in how we teach people. And the amount of volunteers have been immense. Like the number of people that wanted, and like top quality people that just wanted to be on the phone in order to help people, which is like amazing. And you're seeing here, I think it was the first lesson or the first crash course of how we operate the system. Programming wild missiles, we still, to this day, have no idea who that is, but there was only one. And then shit became real. So you can see on the right, this is obviously blacked out, but this is someone from the Malal saying, hey, first rockets identified coming in from the north, you need to start collecting the information of security people in the north, Rashbatzim. Now, think of it, we're a bunch of civilians, right? And someone from the government telling us, we don't have those lists, but we might need to distribute your Kvar Ba'im system to these people, so can you collect the list of the security personnel in north? Fine, we did that. And the army came. And that kind of changed. So up until that point, there have been a bunch of Hamalim doing amazing work, and we're at the process of just building the system that we don't want to be used. And the army hears that and says, we want to install it in all Chapakim up north, because if things hit the fan, we need your system. So they came in, and there have been many soldiers there, and we developed then another layer, which is a GIS system. This is week 3. This GIS system can aggregate all incoming requests throughout the country, wherever they come from, and display them in a way that allows us to pass certain calls to the army, other calls to Achim LaNeshek, and at that point we integrated with other entities that we could direct the traffic or direct the incoming calls after we validated them and were able to collect all the relevant information. So this GIS system was then installed in a bunch of Army locations. This was Army specific. And because that happened, we had to block our floor. Fiverr were hosting this. At this point, Micha, the CEO of Fiverr, is the general manager for this project, right? So we all have jobs, but at that point, we're just running through this, preparing for the North Front, at which point my girlfriend that was doing the marketing for this, and I'll show you in a second, says, why is the North a problem? Isn't Jaffa or the areas in Yudat and Shomron, aren't they a problem as well? And that was really, I have to say, that was the first point in time that I felt threatened personally in just building the system. It literally, I remember that I couldn't fall asleep that night because suddenly I realized I'm a customer of whatever it is that we're developing. It's no longer just escapism of building something in order to feel empowered. It's, we're actually threatened as well at that point in time. So that floor, because of the Army integration, was shut off, and we were working there. And because that was happening, you can see this is becoming like software engineering, like building a product. So we have a roadmap. We have specific channels that we work with. We have a to-do list. And this became, so we had another Monday board in order to manage the project. And we started integrating with other Monday boards in order to pass calls because we started getting calls that were not related to rescue. So we became, so we installed, we had an LLM, just understanding what it is that people want, and just integrated to other systems or other centers. And we're just pushing requests up to them. So this became like a B2C aggregation tool of location-based. I am at this location and I need this food, or I need this delivery. So it became kind of that through this. And we started publishing it to make sure that people, when they need it, especially if it happens up north, they can get the app, they know where it is, but at the end game, we actually had an agreement with the media channels that if there are attacks, they will include our information within the broadcasting, which again, think of it, is insane that a group of people that 3 weeks before that had no intention of building this, but this is all about Israel, is the ability to get to basically anyone and everyone, which is what we felt, including the commander of Pikud Olef and everyone else. Everyone wanted to listen at that. Of course, this is my 12-year-old actually sent, we had to create incentives for people to work harder, so sugar is always a good thing. And this is one of the stand-ups. I have no idea what Ro'i is laughing about, but he's one of the best engineers I've worked with in my life from Wix. But this is just a part of the team that at that point was working. We were doing our daily, but it takes a village, right? So what happened after that is we kind of realized that that is an infrastructure that we build when Bring, a company, an Israeli company, do last mile delivery. And I think Inbar actually met them at Kfar Kama. They said, hey, how about we install this in all cars related to Achim LaNeshek? So it became a command and control system, Kfar Baim, of everyone that was driving around so they can have a button, a rescue button, where they were helping out people, but they were threatened as well. So what you're seeing on the left side is a document I actually wrote for the integration so that any system, any of the other systems, any of the command and control can integrate with us. But then other things started happening. So people heard about the bad actors detection, and then they said, well, we have a problem in the WhatsApp groups of Achim LaNeshek and other, all the logistics, And so we started decoupling some of the system that we built and operationalizing it in allowing people to scan for Iranian bots on WhatsApp groups, right, which you wouldn't expect. And after another request, we kind of realized that the real thing that we needed to supply as a takeaway, and it really relates to what Inbar said, is we were able to get to almost anyone. Be it the Mossad, be it the Tzal, be it at resources, cloud providers, Zapier, that was our data layer, the CEO just gave us free stuff. And so we started thinking of like, how can we expose that to other projects in order to speed those up and not just have our resources hidden with us. Misrad HaBitachon, being able to get to the people that have authorization for vests, right? Crazy stuff. And so we actually took the infrastructure that we built and provided it to everyone else in just navigating the network, getting access to people, because the real currency we had at the point is trust. People trusted us because we were building something that was useful. And it still is the one thing I never want to be used, right? But it did get our agency back, right? All that team, it was at the height, it was 50 people, and we all felt that we're doing something that matters. And what it meant is that that group will never forget working on that together. And even months after, we're still meeting, we're still discussing, and we're still operationalizing the system for other customers, and hopefully not for anything soon. But I'll leave you with what one of my kids wrote randomly, because I was just not there. I was working on the project all the time. And just coming back and seeing him writing this, 12-year-old at the time, it just meant for me that there is a future and that what we're building and our agency is important. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Eden. Thank you, Eden. Thank you so much. And congratulations again to OFEC for doing so well in the CTF. And now it's the final part 3 of our closing keynote. Thank you. After which I'd love to have the BSidesTLV crew on stage for a little moment. But first, let's hear from Idan Tendler. Idan, are you good? Are you ready? Well, he's not yet ready, so I'll tell you a little bit that Idan Tendler, he is the founder of Bridge Crew, which was acquired by Palo Alto Networks. And in his role now in Palo Alto Networks, Idan, come stand next to me here. Idan spends a lot of his time on initiatives that are helping bring more people into the technology ecosystem, including people from a religious Jewish Orthodox background. Such an important mission. Thank you for being with us today, Idan.
Thank you, Karen.
We appreciate it. Thank you. Let's smile to the camera quick. Oh, sorry. Okay, yes.
So actually, this is like the last one, right, Karen?
Closing.
Okay, so actually, I'm going to talk more about the future. Like, what is the most important role of the Israeli tech from now on? But before I do that, I need to talk a bit about my history, so you will understand how come I, from being a cybersecurity entrepreneur, found myself dealing with that. So it's like almost 3 years ago. You remember these times? COVID, right? So I'm in SFO, San Francisco. Me and Dana are going back home after 7 years that we used to live in San Francisco. Palo Alto Networks is acquiring my startup, and we're coming back to Israel with 3 kids. Actually, till these days, we have no idea where is the 3rd one. But trust me, she came with us. And we're coming back, and I find myself in Palo Alto Networks, like a big corporate, you know that, the biggest cybersecurity company of the world, the biggest cybersecurity R&D center in Israel. And it's a new company for me, and I'm like trying to get to know everybody, right? So I'm like in a big meeting room, I remember that, and I'm asking them, like, yeah, you tell me, where did you come from? And this guy told me, yeah, I'm from A200, Shmone Matayim. Yeah, that's cool. I'm from Shmone Matayim as well. And you? I'm from Shmone Matayim. And you? I'm from Shmone Matayim as well. And you? I'm from Shmone Echad. And it's I raised my, like, what? How come everybody's like, and I remember someone told me, no, Idan, we have more people, you need to talk to him. And I'm asking him, where are you from? And he's from Amram. And like, what? And now I understand, it's a big cybersecurity company. Actually, we grew so fast, mainly thanks to acquisitions, right? And when you acquire small startups, so, people are kind of the same. But then I understood that what I just saw in that meeting room is not something unique to us. It's something that is unique, unfortunately, to the entire tech industry in Israel. On one hand, we are like the most coolest growth engine of the economy. Everybody wants to be in the tech. By the way, do you know how many people in Israel actually work in the Israeli tech? How many? No, but in numbers. How many Israelis actually work in the tech? How much? I'm like a stand-up here. What? Less than 1 million. 250,000. So the number, no, first of all, nobody knows, but it's something like 400,000 people. That's it. 400,000 people. This is the number. Think about how much noise do we do? How much noise do we create? But it's not that we just create noise. The tech is the biggest growth engine of the Israeli economy, and it will be and it should be. But how come only 11% of the Israeli population that actually work in the tech? And then, I started to talk to friends from other companies. And I understand that, on one hand, yeah, we are amazing, and, you see the numbers. But then, when you drill down into the numbers, you see that 1/4 of the Israeli population live in the north and in the south. 25% of the Israeli population, right? They live in the north or the south. But when you look at the number of employees in the tech industry that actually live in the north or the south, it's 12%. This is like an unacceptable gap. And then I asked myself, how come? Like, how come? And I understood that you don't need to analyze the data now. You need to look at the universities, right? Let's see the universities, who is actually taking like computer science and engineering. This is like an example of a number, and probably you will get the message. If you look at all the students that live in Ra'anana, by the way, same as Herzliya and Ramat HaSharon, same as Modi'in, by the way, same as Haifa. Something like 35% in universities and colleges, they take computer science. But if you look at Sderot, at Netivot, at Kiryat Malachi, at Kiryat Shmona, it's 18%. So, we shouldn't be surprised, right, that you don't see these guys, people from the north and the south in the tech. And, we can go actually back to high school. This is something I really, really like, and I just saw it. This is like statistics of the students that actually got Bagrut in the entire state of Israel. Now, it's not just that they took Bagrut, they had Bagrut in tech, in other words, in math, English, physics, or computer science. Now, look at the gap. The number of students that actually got this Bagrut Tech, or in English STEM, in Tel Aviv versus the South. Now, this is relatively, 2 years ago. So we shouldn't be surprised in 10 years from now that we see students, that we see, or I would say employees in the tech, many more that are from Tel Aviv and not the South. Now, Israel is a tiny country. I used to live in San Francisco. Relative to Israel, relatively, to United States, Israel is like a county, right, or like a small county. These gaps in our small country do not make sense. Israel is too small to justify them, and we have to fix them. And this is where I understood that, there is a pain and there is a need and maybe I could help with that. And this was the time to build another startup, but this time it wasn't around cybersecurity. It was a social startup, and we named it Place.il. Place because of the place and placement. And Place.il, we founded it 2 years ago, and this is like a non-profit that actually combined all the Israeli tech together to bring people from underrepresented groups, in other words, people from the periphery, Arab population, ultra-Orthodox, Ethiopians, Druze, into the tech. We do 3 things, and I will, do it really quickly because you will get it. First is like one-stop shop. If you're a tech company, I'm looking for the next biggest, best front-end engineer. Place.il is like one-stop shop. You could find all the talents that could fit your specific role from underrepresented groups, okay? Second, we're doing screening. So, we don't care who are you, where are you coming from, if you learned in a college that nobody heard of, we don't care. We don't care about your past. We don't care about your CV. Like, throw it away. We don't care. All we care is about the potential. We want to understand what is the potential of this talent. Could this talent, relatively young, probably junior, right? Could this talent be the best talent in the Israeli tech in 5 to 10 years? And we're doing it with tests that I will explain in a second. And the third thing, we're doing internship program. You're junior, that's okay. Everybody started, as juniors. Here's a tech company, here's a team actually. Here's a team lead. You will start a new position in the tech for 1 year. This is an internship. We will pay you, actually Place.il, we will subsidize 50% of your salary. Just get the experience. And this is eventually what Place.il is doing. I mentioned the tests, and you will definitely appreciate that because it's not something we in Place.il built. Actually, it's something that the entire community, CTOs and VP R&Ds and team leads, we built it together, and the test eventually throw away the CV, throw away the resume, and for each talent, we create like a huge, really cool profile, professional. If you learn to write code, if you say you're an AI expert, we will test that. But we will also test the potential. How much motivated are you? Today, 2 years ago, it was a dream. These are the companies today that work with Place.il. Actually, this morning, 2 additional companies joined this. And this is exciting, and we have like lots of success and dozens of new juniors that came to tech. But then October 7th came. And in October 7th, like everybody here, like Inbar, like Idan, we ask ourselves, what should we do? What should we do now when October 7th came? And for me, there was like aha moment. And this was the moment, have you met Alon in the past? Alon is the mayor of Sderot, Alon Davidi. And I came like all the tech leaders, we came to Yam HaMelech and we came to Elat and we wanted to help and to volunteer. And Alon told me one sentence that I will remember for the entire of my life. He saw that I'm coming from the tech because I was with my uniform, the black t-shirt. And Alon told me, Idan, that's great that you're coming now to help, but nobody cares. You need to come post-war. You need to be here after the war ends. You need to build the tech industry in Sderot, in the Negev. You need to create jobs. If the tech industry won't be in Sderot in the day after, nobody will be in Sderot. And I understood that we have a mission. We, the tech industry, we, Place.il, have a mission. Sderot is not that far away. I did this road so many times in the last, 8 months. It's only 1 hour and 10 minutes. Sometimes more, sometimes less. This is not periphery, guys. If you will tell someone from Silicon Valley that 1 hour from Santa Clara, 1 hour from San Francisco, it's a periphery, they will laugh at you. 1 hour is not a periphery, it's in our minds, and we need to change that. We initiated the Israeli Tech Negev Fund. This is the first fund of the Israeli Tech, and we have a clear goal. We have a clear goal. We are going to create 400 new jobs in Western Negev of the Israeli Tech. You know, the tech industry, we have plenty of jobs, but we have only one job that nobody else can do, and this is to create jobs. And this is what we're focusing on these days, and it's really new, but we already have success. We already have success stories. Fardus, she's from Rahat. We decided, I didn't mention that we're not going only after Sderot. We're going after the entire Western Negev, from Ashkelon to Sderot, to Ofakim, to Netivot, to the Kibbutzim, to Rahat. Fardus is now working in Armis, if you heard about that amazing company. Fardus learned in Sapir College, and like other people from the periphery that learn in colleges, usually, unfortunately, their dream is to be interviewed in companies. We're, you know, I will be very honest, we're kind of snobs, right? When you see somebody that learned in college or is from RAT, usually you won't even invite them to interview. It doesn't make sense. We had the same thing with Noam. As you probably saw, Noam is from Kiryat Shmona. We already expanded it to the north. Noam learned computer science in Tel Chai, in Michlelet Tel Chai. Her dream was to be interviewed in the tech industry. We tested these guys with our screening methods. We saw they are amazing. Amazing. Noam is now working in autonomous pivot, in computer science role. For them, it's the first opportunity to prove themselves and to get experience. The last example I want to show is this incredible guy. Chai is from Netiva Asara. Chai is a survivor of the massacre of October 7th. And we love him because he's so brave to talk about that. He learned computer science in Michlelet Ashkelon. He's from Netiva Asara. And he's also talking about his anxiety attacks since October 7th. And due to them, it was extremely hard for him to pass interviews in the tech. We tested Chai, and now Chai is working in Riskified. Now, this morning, I just mentioned it, but additional 2 guys from the Negev joined the Israeli Tech with our initiative. Eventually, this is the new role of the tech industry, guys. This is our role together as community. We have to create an equal opportunity to everybody. It doesn't make sense that if you're an Arab, if you're ultra-Orthodox, if you're from the north, if your parents never worked in the tech or never actually went to university, it doesn't make sense that you won't get the opportunity I got. And we can, and we have to do that. This is our responsibility. We have to reconnect Israel. In my teams today, in your teams today, there are people from all the sides of the society of Israel. You know, if you read the newspapers, we are divided. If you go into the tech teams, you see that we are not divided. We are working together. Maybe we don't agree, right, on political issues, but people from the left, people from the right, people religious and non-religious, ultra-Orthodox, Arabs, Druze, Olim, everybody are working together. It's possible, and I think the tech is the only place in Israel that actually can enable that. Our responsibility eventually is to rebuild Israel. So please join us. We need more companies, we need more volunteers. This is a QR code. We have all the details there. And thank you this amazing day for the opportunity to talk to you. Thank you.